But nonetheless, I'm back, and I'm actually glad to have Clyde, my brother from another mother, all the way back from Denver, Colorado. Clyde, how's life been treating you? Of course, we got a lot to talk about, but life itself is more important. How have you been, man?
Life is great, man. Oh, I have an echo. Can you hear an echo?
No,
Okay, hold on.
nope. You're good on my end.
Sorry, buddy.
No, you're good, man. Not a problem. And hey, let's get down to it. Of course, before we talk some Denver Broncos football, as always, listen to us on iTunes and Google. But we joined the Championship Sports Media, so we're part of that. And of course, let La Terrain watches save some money using the code AirRaid. But Clyde, let's get down to business. Denver, our Broncos. We are currently one of what, 5 teams left that is undefeated, 3-0. I know we got a tough task against Lamar Jackson in Baltimore, but what's your thoughts on so far? 3-0.
Well, I mean, first of all, we're beating teams that we're supposed to beat the way we're supposed to beat them. The defense is flying around. I mean, our defense is legit.
Yep.
Yeah, nobody can score on us. I think we're giving up 8.5 points a game or something like that. Last week, literally, the Jets didn't score at all. They didn't even have a chance. They had no shot at scoring. I think it's pretty much a foregone conclusion that our defense is going to be one of the top 2 or 3 defenses in the league.
Well, I'll say this first, and I know where Clyde, you and I talked about quite a bit, but I'll give him props when props are due. Teddy Bridgewater is playing lights out. I mean, obviously he's got his struggles, but he showed his flash against the Giants, and he got it out. He got out of situations. He could have been sacked and all that other good stuff. So, but nonetheless, I like what Bridgewater is bringing to the table. I don't know about you, Clyde, but this team is really hyped up, and especially really love the mentality that Bridgewater is bringing to this team so far.
He's exactly what I told you he would be. He'd be the adult in the room. We needed the adult. He's brought the leadership that I knew that he would bring. I knew that he was smart. I think that was obvious. Everywhere he's gone, he's been able to learn the offense. He's learned 5 offenses. He's done all kinds of different roles. He's come back from injuries. Team, I think he's been the missing piece, to be honest with you. I think that will lead us to the playoffs this year, and it's going to be a fun year to watch.
Well, most definitely, and I know and people say, "Well, it's only 3-0." Okay, I get that. Hey, we're in first place. It's been a while since we've been in this position. I think the first time, 2012 was the last time we were 3-0. But you look at it, this team top to bottom. Bridgewater is bringing us a different mentality with a more of a mobile quarterback, I would say, because of the fact that he can get out of positions and rushes that maybe Locke and Joe Flacco and the list goes on and on that could have probably been sacked. Decision making's a whole lot better, especially from a year ago. But I like where Denver's at, and right now this team's a hell of a team. And I know Baltimore's gonna be tough. They got their tough stretch now coming up, but I know where it's still early.
Do they? Is Pittsburgh better than the Broncos are right now?
Oh, absolutely not. Quarterback position, we beat them.
Look, they don't. Pittsburgh isn't. We're going to beat Pittsburgh. I think I can't wait to play the Raiders. This is why I'm a fan. This is what I love about being a fan. Is I can't wait for Sunday now.
Mm-hmm.
It's been so long since I've been able to say I cannot wait to watch a Bronco game. Sunday is must-see TV, man. Yep. How we're going to take care of the Ravens, we'll just have to find out. But the Ravens' defense is not good.
Mm-hmm.
They're bad. They're really, really bad. they have holes that we can exploit. I think Teddy's going to chew them up, spit them out. So I think the next 3 or 4 games, we might end up being the only undefeated team in the NFL come, I don't know, the Browns game?
Look at the schedule. Yeah, Cleveland.
Yeah, 7-0 going into Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
It would not shock me. Let's just put it that way. It wouldn't shock me. I would almost be shocked if we lost this weekend.
Oh, absolutely. And I was on a guest on Max Mamba's Legacy podcast, and we actually talked Bronco football. And I told him that this, as a Bronco fan, been a fan for my whole life, and I know you as well, along with the rest of Broncos country, this is the most exciting I think we've been in quite some time. Probably since Manning in 2015 when we won the Super Bowl. I guess post Manning, this would be the biggest, funnest time right now. I'll put it that way.
I think this year will be one of those years. I said it last year. I think we talked about it right around the draft time that this is the beginning of a new era in Broncos football.
Yep.
I think this year is the start of a new era. We got a new GM, new quarterback, kind of a new philosophy on the way we're building our team. It just feels like a renaissance for Broncos football, and it feels like we're going to be here for a while.
I think we're a team to reckon with. I really believe that we can now fight. And I hate to poke the bear. You always say be careful what you wish for, but I really think we got a shot against Kansas City. Kansas City is a team right now that you don't know. I mean, let's be honest. You don't know what this team is.
Kansas City's defense sucks.
Tampa Bay exposed them in the Super Bowl last year. I think everybody's got caught on.
There's a blueprint.
Yep.
The blueprint is rush the quarterback, get pressure with 4 guys, and cover in the back. I mean, it sounds easy, right? It sounds like the blueprint for everybody, but honestly, I think the Broncos have the personnel to expose Kansas City the way that Tampa Bay did in the Super Bowl.
I think people looked at that film and still looking at that film and realizing how can we get on the outside on both edges, doesn't matter left or right, and how can we get to Mahomes? And I think the Chargers, I wish people would give the Chargers more credit, but this team can play. Justin Herbert can play.
Oh, he's a baller, dude. Absolute baller. Absolutely. Yeah, he's good. I didn't watch that game. I heard though that Mahomes threw some bad picks.
Mm-hmm.
He's been throwing some bad picks lately. And
somebody got to him.
I think Hilaire fumbled a couple times. Is that what I heard? I don't know.
Correct. Yeah.
I've been out of the loop with Kansas City, but I heard he fumbled a couple times. So, I mean, when you turn the ball over, even the best teams in the league get exposed. And that's one thing the Broncos haven't. They have done. I mean, the Rook fumbled on the 1-yard line. That was a bummer. But other than some, 1 or 2 turnovers for the Broncos, no picks. They've been keeping a hold of the ball. I think, what do they have, like a +5 turnover margin right now?
Correct.
When you're +5 and you can control the football and control the clock, I mean, those are the things that win you games in January and February.
Well, this defense is legit. PS2 is playing. I know he's coming off the bench, starting at times, but he can still play. It doesn't matter. This kid's good. I know he's got his first interception against Jacksonville is officially first, even though I still count the Minnesota one. But that kid, he hasn't even allowed a touchdown even during his college play or his college days at Alabama. I mean, this kid is a stud.
He's a baller, man. Yeah, I kind of scratched my head when the pick came in, and you and I were on Twitter going back and forth. So we had our draft special. We had a couple podcasts right around draft time, before and after. and we kind of scratched our heads like, really? We passed on Justin Fields, and looking back on it now, what a great pick. You know, what thank God we passed on him and took PS2. And you know, it took me a little bit, and I'm not talking about a long time. I'm talking about like 20 minutes. But in 20 minutes, I was over the pick, and I was like, oh man, I like the way this team is headed. You know, we had picked up Teddy Bridgewater the day before for a 6th-round pick,
which is nothing.
You know, and only have to pay him like $3 million this year. I mean, the way this team has been set up, it's nothing short of genius, to be honest.
Dude, I'm pumped. You know, I didn't watch much of Jacksonville. I got swamped at work, but this team, left to right, I love the firepower. And I don't know about you, Clyde, but Vaughn is looking phenomenal right now, coming off the line.
Yeah, he's just so fast, dude. He's so explosive, and he's still bendy. He's like Gumby, man. You know, he's so strong too. But the thing with Vaughn is, it's hard to touch him. It's hard to even just get your hands on him as an offensive right tackle. You can't even he's almost literally untouchable sometimes. And the way he's been playing the run too, I mean, people forget what a great run defender he is. He's not going to come up and knock you out like say a Ray Lewis would, but he's like a sniper. You know, he's just so fast, and he can sniff out what you're trying to do against him on almost every play, and he's just so fast, and it's just so fun to watch. And so, yeah, it's Von Miller. That another one of those decisions that George Payton made it's just genius.
Speaking of George Payton, of course, we got, you know, injuries galore, but I know, of course, KJ's out for the year. Judy's still out for a while, and Chubb, and the list goes on and on. But the fact that we're winning games without some of these players is still impressive, and shows, I guess, at finally that we have some type of depth, I guess. Offensive line-wise, that's pretty impressive because
we got great depth. I'm not saying that we can stand to lose anymore.
No, exactly. Right.
You know,
let's not do that.
I think we're stretched to the limit right now. But if you want to look at it honestly, I think losing Josie Jewell is a big loss, but I think we might even have upgraded that position.
Yeah.
In a weird way, I think that Sternad, that he's a rookie ultimately, he hasn't played much. I think this is the first year he's played. He was hurt last year, 5th-round pick last year. He's come in and he's looked every bit the part, if not better than Josie Jewell. I mean, that's hard for me to say, but he's balling out of control right now. You know, in the secondary, Caden Stearns, they're gonna bring him in and play some dime. And he had a pick last week. And you know, there's some linebackers and some secondary that we're just really deep there, and it's kind of nice to see that. Another thing I like about George Payton is how he's going and sniping some of these other players off of practice squads around the league.
Mm-hmm.
He got that. He got a linebacker or two off of practice squads.
Yep.
Kaiser and what's that other kid's name? 94. I don't know.
Yeah, he got that one guy from the Rams, and then he got somebody.
Yeah, that was Kaiser, right?
I think so. And then Jacksonville was somebody.
I think it was. And then we went and got what was it, David Moore? Is that his name? Off the Raiders practice squad to take KJ's place. I mean, a guy who started 14 games and scored 15 touchdowns in his career. 13. He scored more than 10 touchdowns in his career. So I don't know why he was even available. How is a guy like that even available to go pick up? That blows my mind. But give it to George, man. That front office is really working wonders with going deep and really showing us what he can do roster wise. It's been pretty cool to watch.
Speaking of front office, of course, this team is what for sale, about to be for sale. John Elway wants to, he's interested in buying. I don't know if you heard this one, but of course, 18 Peyton Manning, he's interested. But what's your thoughts on the potential maybe Elway Manning kind of co-owning?
I don't know if they're going to co-own. Is that? It almost feels like it's one of those things where they're going against each other.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, look, I hope Peyton puts together a team that can buy the Broncos. That would be really cool. I think having Peyton Manning as a lifetime Bronco would be cool. So for him to own the Broncos would be poetic, as would John Elway. But I'm more of a Peyton Manning fan in terms of ownership. I think he'll be more – it just feels like John Elway's tired. Like he would do a good job of sitting in the booth and being the face of the organization. But I think Peyton Manning would really roll his sleeves up and be a damn good owner.
Well, and I think that Manning, no offense to Elway, but I think Manning, you'll probably see more on the field, more active with the team.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
Might see Elway on the sideline, but I think when push comes to shove, I think you may see John at some bar and grill and probably 10 feet away. I don't know. I think it's interesting nonetheless. What would the sales pitch if? I know it's a weird topic, but it's not even like a discussion. What do you think the sales pitch is like? Welcome to Denver. Here's what you're gonna get. I've always asked myself that. I kind of wonder what the sales pitch is
for Denver.
Mm-hmm.
As to bring in free agents,
and of course the ownership with the ownership issues going on.
Well, I mean the sales pitch is
same.
Denver's a great place to live, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a great place. It's hard to beat. It's hard to beat Denver. The people are awesome. The weather is awesome. I don't want to say too much because there's a lot of people already moving here. You don't want everybody to move here, yeah. But it's one of those things where, dude, it's not a secret anymore. What a great place it is. Everything about it's great. I mean, I don't know one bad thing about. I can't say one bad thing about Colorado. So to live here and to come here, I mean, it's awesome. It's one of the best places on earth for sure. I don't know what else to say.
Hey, I'm not going to argue that.
The one thing that does suck, I mean, if you're gonna nitpick, I mean, our air quality sucks because we get all the smoke from all the wildfires in the West, and I haven't seen the mountains in about 3 months, so it's been kind of nice seeing the mountains this last couple of weeks,
Oh, I'm sure.
But in the last 3 months, we haven't been able to see too much of the mountains from the Front Range, so that's been kind of a bummer. But other than that, I mean, Colorado's great.
Well, you never know what the future holds, but trust me, dude, I'm trying to get up there myself.
Oh, yeah?
I'm trying, man. It's not an easy pitch, but I'm trying.
Well, hey, there's room. There's room, buddy.
Well, everybody else is moving up there, so you guys got to make room for me.
Yeah, there's definitely room, buddy. I would love to. We'd love to have you.
Well, trust me, the market where I want to get into long-term wise, the market here in Oklahoma City just doesn't fit. We're just too small of a sports market, and even just market in general. So, I gotta, as they always say, broaden your wings and all that good stuff. So we'll see. But
yeah, cool, man. What do you want to do in the sports? What do you do?
Well, currently I'm a assistant ops manager for a commercial franchisee company. I won't say who, out of respect to them, in case they find my stuff offensive, which whatever. But nonetheless, it's all right. I mean, it pays the bills, but
Yeah,
long term wise, you gotta, it's not my passion.
yeah. Hey,
But it
I
pays
know
the bills, so I
that.
can't complain.
Fair enough, man. Yeah, there's work too, man. I'll tell you what. Like, maybe that's another thing. Like, there's so much work here.
Mhm.
I mean, so many people are coming here that there's just such a need for work. So, I mean, if you're willing to do it, work hard. Colorado's the place to be, man.
There you have it. Looking back at the Broncos schedule, realistically, down the stretch, the Ravens are inconsistently. We talked about it. Defense is not as good as it used to be in the past. Steelers, the quarterback is done. I wish he would give it up. I'm really circling that Raiders game, and you're looking at 5-0 headed into that game. Realistically, I'm looking at the schedule. We're at quite a ways until we get to our first bye weekend. I think week 11.
Yeah.
You're looking at the schedule, and is it fair enough? And I'm not being a biased fan, but it's a realistic question. If they can get by Baltimore, you're looking at Pittsburgh, Las Vegas, Cleveland, Washington, Dallas, Philadelphia before the bye week. Could it be realistically best? Honestly, easy to say we could go unbeaten before our bye week with that
Ooh.
schedule.
I don't want to go that far.
You don't think so?
I'm not willing to make that call. You know, the way that Justin Simmons puts it, every 1-0 every week, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's get through this week. I think I think we're favored this week against the Ravens. So there's a very good chance. Let's put it this way: there's a very good chance that the Broncos will be either even money or favored in every one of those games.
Ooh. I got some Cleveland fans that listen to this thing. I got two Cleveland fans that were getting on. Yeah, Broncos are currently favored. I know we're still almost a few days out, but right now we're favored by a point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd take that bet. I'd take the Broncos in that.
Oh, absolutely. I'll take that in the heartbeat.
I just don't see how the Ravens can stop the Broncos offense.
Well, no, and you look at Baltimore's offensive line, they've struggled early. I know it's only 4 weeks, but they've struggled. And Vaughn, this is the best Vaughn I've seen him play in quite some time.
Yeah. And isn't who's their right tackle? Who's that guy? He's a really good player, but he's kind of nicked up a little bit. What's that guy's name?
Oh,
Staley? No.
Hold on.
He's on the injury report. I think he's questionable this week.
I know who you're talking about. It's drawing a blank.
Yeah. He's a really good player. Awesome player.
Villanueva.
Nah. Is it Villanueva that's playing right tackle for them?
Yes, sir.
Is it?
Alejandro Villanueva is the right tackle.
Who's the left tackle?
Ronnie Stanley.
Ronnie Stanley. Thank you. Ronnie Stanley's a baller, but he's nicked up. By the way, Charlie, what's his name? Villanueva?
Villanueva.
Yeah. Let's see if he gets any sleep this week.
You think Baltimore's going to do
they like to use their tight end in the pass game,
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like the Broncos have kind of taken the tight end away from other teams because they have to use their tight end to chip Vaughn. Because if they're not chipping Vaughn, he's on. Like I said, he's untouchable. Like the tackle cannot get to him. So they've been chipping him almost on every passing down. So that might be difficult for the Ravens to get their tight end into the offensive flow of the game if they got to keep him in and chip Vaughn and help out Villanueva. Vaughn is gonna wreck this game. I don't know how else to put it. Vaughn is going to be a game wrecker this week.
Baltimore, in order to succeed against Denver's defense, they're going to have to utilize Mark Andrews to where he can get off the line and become that receiver. Because if they don't, I don't know if Marquise Brown and the rest of the receiving corps can keep up with with the secondary.
I agree. And then and so it becomes one of those where you have to Lamar Jackson has to do it all against this team, and I just don't see how it happens. I love Lamar Jackson. I think he's an all-world player. Don't get me wrong, he's a former MVP.
Yep.
But against this defense, it's going to be tough. So I mean, I don't think there's any. I mean, there are Raven fans out there that are, jaded, and they think that they're just going to come in here and stomp a mud hole because of our past. But this is not last year's defense. This is 2021 Denver Bronco defense is legit, man, legit. Teams are getting shut down in the secondary. This secondary is as good as anything I've ever seen from the Broncos. That includes the no-fly zone.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's definitely the best since the no-flying zone, if not getting better.
Might be better, dude.
Could be, yeah, I could see that.
I know it's crazy to say. I know we've only played 3 games and we played 3 really bad teams, and I guess this week is where the rubber meets the road, I guess you could say. But I think this week is where everybody kind of opens their eyes to the Broncos and they're like, oh, wow, these guys are for real.
I'm looking at where is it at? So for the Broncos offensively, I'm trying to find the defenses rankings, but I guess the NFL lap is not going to show that. You passing wise, they're 12th in the league.
Defense?
Offense.
Oh, they're 12th in passing yards?
Receiving, they're 11th. And Las Vegas leads both categories. They're 13th in first downs. Dallas leads that. They're 8th in rushing. Baltimore leads that. And then they're 12th in points, and Arizona leads that, which Arizona's they're pretty special. They're a pretty good team.
Yeah, they are too. Yep.
Trying to find the defensive rankings. I'm not seeing it, but
can you find out what time of possession? How the Broncos are doing on time of possession?
Let's see. NFL ranking. I'm kind of curious. Where would you say
the Broncos right now in time of possession? First.
That's what I'll definitely top 3.
Maybe second.
Currently, we rank first.
Yeah, exactly. This is what you're supposed to do. This is how you win football games. If you can control the clock, if you can control time of possession, as what they're doing right now, run the ball, control the clock, stay ahead of the game, stay ahead of the chains, and that's what they're doing. I mean, what do you want from them? They can only play who's in front of them, right? This is who they are this year. This is what they built their team to be. Is ball control and play defense. Just 3 and outs on defense and run the ball, hold the ball, throw the ball down the field. It's a beautiful. It's fun to watch, man. I don't know what to say. I'm excited to be a Bronco fan again.
And here we go with the stats. They're first in time of possession, 36-35 is what they're averaging.
36-35 a game.
35 a game.
Bro.
That's insane.
That's great, dude.
That is insane.
Yep. That means their defense is fresh.
Well, and that's what killed us always in the past. You would have Drew, and I'm not blaming any quarterback because it really doesn't matter. All of them from 16 all the way up to currently, that's what killed us. It was quick 3 and outs or a quick turnover, and this defense is right back on that field. And then people are like, oh, they're just not good. Well, shit, I wouldn't be good either if I'm on the field 40 minutes of the game,
Exactly.
especially in Denver with that thin air as it is.
That's exactly right. This is what we're supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what Teddy brings to the team, man. And he doesn't make dumb mistakes.
You know, I was where was I at when I was thinking this? Might have been probably at the OU when I was working that game. But anyway, I was thinking, I said, you know, I'm actually a Bridgewater guy. Yeah, I still like my luck guy. But I think change of scenery for Bridgewater has done him well. Because boy, he's playing.
Well, I mean, it goes without saying, right?
Yeah, he's playing really phenomenally well.
He's a good leader. I don't know. I said this when we on our draft special when we picked him up. I told you. They did not pick up Teddy Bridgewater to be a backup. They picked up Teddy Bridgewater to be a starting quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
This was never a competition. This was obvious from the jump what was going to happen to me. Is that they could not run another year with Locke at quarterback. They could not do it.
Well, if Vic Fangio wanted his job, he had to put Bridgewater in starter. He has no choice.
Come on, man.
Yeah, if you want to be here for 2022, you're going to have to put the right guy at quarterback.
It's a trust thing. It's a trust. Like I said, dude, you can't be so inconsistent and put your life on the line. Ultimately, this is his life, right?
Yep.
He doesn't get another shot at head coach.
Oh no, with his age, no.
This is his last chance. So his whole life is on the line. His whole head coaching life is on the line right now. And his coordinators, they're all on there. This is their life on the line too. So you had to make a change there. Could not go into the season status quo. It just was not. It could not happen now. And like you said, Teddy Bridgewater, they brought in the right guy. They just went and got the right guy. And Teddy Bridgewater is going to make George Payton Executive of the Year this year.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
He's going to be Executive of the Year.
Well, I don't know who else we could put in there.
I can't imagine. Hey, it's getting kind of dark. Let me turn some lights on so you can see my pretty face.
What's funny is, dude, with your shirt, that was actually a pretty cool thing. You're like glowing. Astronaut on the moon.
There we go.
But no, I mean Vic Fangio, I liked him. I really had nothing against him to begin with. I just thought his poor quarterback plays is in the position that we were in, and unfortunately, head coaches do get a lot of heat. And I think if we can make the playoffs, do you think it's safe to say, without, I'm going to say it anyway, I think even if we make the playoffs, he's safe for one more year. Do you think we have to make a run in the playoffs for him to still be safe?
We gotta make the playoff. I think if we win the AFC West, his job is secure for next year.
That'd be nice.
We have to win the West though.
Well, of course, yeah.
And that's going to be listen. If you win the AFC West this year, you won the toughest division in football.
Yep.
I don't know who has a better division than the AFC West.
Well, you're going to say people are going to sit there. I know Dan's going to listen later on when the episode releases, but he's going to sit there and probably say, and I'm not arguing with them, the NFC West, because you got Arizona, San Francisco, the Rams, and Seattle. Fair enough.
That's the only other division that has even an argument.
Oh, absolutely. And my argument really would still put AOC because Seattle's starting to go on the downhill slide.
Mm-hmm.
The Cardinals are obviously making itself known. 49ers, tough loss for them. The Rams seem that they don't care who's quarterback. They can still win. I just still think the AFC West, excuse me, is a lot better because you still got Kansas City, even though they're predictable now. But the Raiders, Broncos, and Chargers are all three moving up, and they got some good quarterbacks.
Well, they just have good teams all the way around. It's like I said when the Broncos were winning the division every year and they go into Super Bowls and ultimately winning a Super Bowl. Everybody was chasing the Broncos, so they had to build their team to beat the Broncos.
Yep.
Now you have the Chiefs doing the same thing. They're winning the division every year, and now you have to, if you want to compete with the Chiefs, you have to build a team that will compete with the Chiefs. And in doing so, they've built a team that will compete with anybody in the league. And so, as a team shows that they are, ultimately kind of a dynasty.
Mm-hmm.
The Chiefs going to back-to-back Super Bowls? Yeah, they've gone to back-to-back Super Bowls, right? And back-to-back AFC Championship games.
Yeah.
When you got a team that dominant, the rest of your division has to build to beat that team, or they're just going to be left in the dust. And so, as we've built to beat the Chiefs, we've created a team that will be, and each one of the Raiders, Chargers, and the Broncos have built teams that can win anywhere, anytime. So the Chiefs' success, and ultimately, going back to the Broncos' success, has built the AFC West to be a juggernaut.
Mm-hmm. When it goes back to what George Payton has done so far in his early career at Denver, he, of course, we liked what we saw last year's draft. You got all kinds of weapons: Jerry Jeudy, KJ Hamler. The list goes on and on.
Both of them.
Yeah, the list goes on, and now you got this year's draft, which I still like, and he mainly focused on defense because he realized the only way you're going to beat Kansas City is your defense has got to stop them. We just can't give up another touchdown and try to outscore them because guess what? We're going to lose 42-22 because we can't outscore these guys.
Exactly. Yeah, no, absolutely. And then what else did they do? They went out and got a running back.
Got a running back, yep.
So they got a running back in the second round. So
who's going to be a stud? I'm telling this kid's good. Williams is good.
He's a baller, dude.
He's good.
Well, the problem with Williams though right now with Pookie is he seems to be one of those guys that he's got to be a bell cow.
Yep.
You just got to feed him. Last week he only had 12 carries. Well, he's just getting started with 12 carries.
Yeah, this is early in his career. He's got to get his feet wet. But I'm telling you, he's gonna go off.
When you can start giving that kid the ball 25, 26, 27 carries a game, that is where that's how he's going to be better. That seems to me that he's going to get stronger as the game goes on. So you need to feed this guy. You need to feed him. I know that you got to feed Gordon too, but he's better than Gordon.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't know how to. It's a weird dynamic. Williams is going to be. He's going to be maybe the top 2 or 3 back in the NFL next year.
Mm-hmm.
Next year.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think going forward, you'll see a lot more carries. They're going to start featuring him a lot more if he can hold on to the ball and not fumble on the goal line. If he can hold on to the ball, you're going to start seeing a much bigger workload for him. I think 12 carries is not enough. You got to give him 20, 25 carries in a game. Once you start doing that, now you got a team that is going to be very tough, a very, very tough out. Because if they can run the ball and play defense like they do, and Teddy Bridgewater completing 70% of his passes, I don't know how you stop that, dude.
And I think this team's built for the future. I mean, you
Yeah,
look
that
at
too.
you got Gordon, who's what I think this is his final year on his 2-year contract. I
Yeah,
think
he won't be back next year.
no. Mm-mm. I like this team where they're going. Hopefully, Locke backing up maybe can improve and they can figure out what they want to do with him. I don't really know at this point. Um,
Hey, I got into a
how
debate.
how old is
I don't
Bridgewater?
know if you know. Do you know Larry Reed, the Ideal,
Oh
on
yes, yes,
Twitter?
yes. Hmm.
You know him?
Yes.
He's a good dude, man. He's one of my favorite. He's one of my favorite Twitter guys. He's actually out here last week for Bronco game. He came out and met some Twitter friends in Denver. Unfortunately, I didn't get to meet him, but I had a conversation. I said that I think we've talked about it too. Is that Brett Rippon is a better backup quarterback than Drew Lock? Remember that conversation?
Yes.
Do you remember us having that conversation? Listen,
Yep.
and I said the same thing yesterday. And this was before they promoted Rippon to the 53. Have you heard about this?
Mm-mm.
So the Texans wanted to sign Brett Rippon off of our practice squad.
What?
So because we had an opening with the Hamler injury, instead of letting the Texans sign Rippon off the practice squad, they promoted him to the 53-man roster uh, in Hamler's spot.
Wow.
So talk to me. What? Why in the world would the Broncos want to hold on to Brett Rippon if they have Drew Lock backing him up? Like why, if it's so easy to replace a third string quarterback, if you can just bring anybody in, why would they promote Rippon? Why do they want to keep him so bad?
Well, I think there's something special with this kid.
I agree. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, listen, he's not the most talented player.
Well,
He's
he's
not as
definitely
talented as Locke. Physically, he's not as talented. But like I said, he's a 5
Mm-hmm.
every single day. You know what you're going to get from Rippon, and he's smart, and he knows the playbook. You know you can trust him to come in off the bench in a pinch and run the offense. You know you have that in him, and that is something that I don't know if you can trust Drew Lock necessarily to do as a backup. Do you remember we had this conversation? I don't think Drew Lock is a good backup quarterback. He's a starting quarterback.
Yeah, and and that brings up yeah.
Rippon is a backup quarterback.
Well,
He's
absolutely.
6'1", 200 pounds. You know what I mean? He's not a starting quarterback. He doesn't have the arm. He is in the mold of the traditional backup quarterback. You don't want him starting. If you have to start him 1 or 2 games, maybe. But you don't want him starting. You want him coming off the bench in case of a pinch where you can run your offense. And you won't miss you might miss a beat, but you know that he knows what he's doing. And that the game plan won't have to change. You don't have to change the playbook because you know he knows the playbook. So to come in, that is a trust issue, right? To trust your backup quarterback is a big deal. But the backup role is not a role that every quarterback can do. And I don't think that Drew Lock fits that role as well as Brett Rippon. And I think that Brett Rippon, although not as good of a quarterback as Drew Lock necessarily, is a better suited for the backup role. He's a better backup quarterback than Drew Lock. I know. You gotta get into the mind twist of this thing. But there's a role that he fits perfectly.
What's Bridgewater's contract looking like? Do we still have him for next year, or is this his last year? Do we know?
I think he's got an option. I'm pretty sure he's got an option because Carolina signed him for 3 years or 3 or 4 years, and he only played for one.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the second year. I think he's got an option. If we pick up the option, I think we got to pick up the whole option. They're not on the hook for anything. And I think it's like 25 or 28 million.
Okay, so he's an unrestricted free agent after this season.
Is he really?
Yep. So he hits the market this year.
Whoa. Does he? Whoa.
Now we're right back to the
quarterback situation. So this kid's going to come in here and ball out of control, and we're going to win the division with him as our quarterback.
And we could potentially lose him again. Or not again, but we could lose him.
Well, I mean, and word around the campfire is that the deal for Aaron Rodgers is not dead. But Aaron Rodgers, to me, Aaron Rodgers was a 2021 thing. Mm-hmm. I'm not sold on Aaron Rodgers as a 2022 thing.
And of course, I took a lot of rift when I said that thing on Twitter. Yes, I'm not saying that I wouldn't want Aaron Rodgers as a Bronco. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is I don't want him at his age. That's what concerns me. Even though he's playing phenomenally in Green Bay, I'm not knocking that. But the offer for a 37-year-old, I just wasn't turned on by it. No pun intended. It's just I wasn't.
No, I know. I get it. Yeah. I was. I'm not gonna lie. I would have loved to see Aaron Rodgers
this year. Absolutely right.
This year, but now that we got Teddy and Teddy's shown us what he can do and what he brings to the table, and he's only 28. I think next year will be his age 29 season. I mean, why not?
So here's an
why not run it with Teddy?
So Teddy's he's a free agent after this year. Drew Lock is a free agent after 22.
Yeah, but I wonder if Drew Lock is a trade chip.
Well, and that's my next thing I was going to ask you, and kind of want to discuss. I think this could get interesting. What's the value at this moment of Drew Lock? You have to decide, boy, let's just re-sign Bridgewater. Let's just say 3 years. I don't care what they do, 3-4 years. Now, what's the value for Lock?
As a backup in Denver?
Yes. To try to trade him away to avoid any potential QB issues.
I don't think he has any trade value.
What about a 4th rounder?
No. If any team in the NFL wanted to give a 4th round draft pick for Drew Lock, I would throw my back out jumping on that trade. Yes, I would take it. The thing is that there's not one team in the NFL that will give a 4th round draft pick for Drew Lock right now. Not one.
Well, I'm trying to think of a team that has no quarterback. What about Pittsburgh?
Yeah, I was just thinking about the Steelers. No. No. Why would you? What are you gonna do? Bring in Drew Lock? I just for what? For a 4th round pick? No, no way. No way. I don't think he has any trade value, man.
I know one thing. If Teddy continues his hot this season like we think he can, put the stats up like I think he can, boy, he's gonna be a hot commodity next year.
Yeah.
Boy, he's gonna be a hot commodity.
I don't think he leaves Denver. There's no way the Broncos don't re-sign.
They're gonna offer him something.
Denver Broncos this year, and we like him, and he does great things with the Broncos this year. He'll be a Denver Bronco next year.
I say go for it. At least I mean, what's the worst thing that George is going to sit here and say, "Hey, here's an offer of 3 for whatever 36. I don't care what it is."
Who
And
for Teddy?
for Teddy, do you think 12 mil?
No, no. If he wins this division this year, look, the way he's been playing this first 3 weeks. If we beat the Ravens and then go to Pittsburgh and beat Pittsburgh, we're 5-0. Teddy's 25 million. You have to start at 25 million. It probably goes up to 30 million.
I'm telling you, I still think if we beat Baltimore, we have a good shot to be undefeated, at least headed into Cleveland. Which I would love to go to Cleveland for that one, but work schedule sucks.
I think the value for Teddy Bridgewater right now is undetermined. But if we were going to re-sign him, let's say right now, it would take $75 million over the next 3 years to sign him. Fully guaranteed.
Woo!
But he's got to stay healthy, right? That's the thing. Like, he's got to show me that he can stay healthy for an entire year, that he can win a playoff game. If he can win a playoff game, I think the Broncos give him 25 to 30 a year, dude.
Whoa.
Yeah. This is it costs a lot of money to have a captain and a good quarterback for your team.
Well, Drew Lock has potential.
Really? Listen, if Drew Lock had potential, they wouldn't have brought Teddy in, and Teddy wouldn't have beat him. And he wouldn't be the starting quarterback right
now. No, I had to throw that in there because I know you like to hear Drew Lock.
You tell me, do you think that Drew Lock has trade value right now?
I think the best you can get out of him depends on what George Payton's looking at. I still say at least a 6-rounder. What did we give up for Tebow? 5th or 6th?
I think it was a fourth rounder. But he won a playoff game. He won the division.
A really good Pittsburgh team too.
He won a playoff game. He won the division. That's worth a 4th-round pick. And he was selling a lot of jerseys.
Well, that he was. Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So in New York, he was going to sell a lot of jerseys. So that's worth something, especially to a new owner. I think they just sold the Jets when they traded for Tebow.
Yeah, they had some management changes since then.
You see what I'm saying? So there's nobody. Drew Lock doesn't move the needle like Tim Tebow. Drew Lock is an afterthought in 31 other teams. And I would argue, and I have argued on Twitter, to my dismay, probably, that Drew Lock is easier to replace than Brett Rippon.
Well, absolutely. Now, I would agree on that. Absolutely.
Because Brett Rippon is a football he's a football genius. He will learn a playbook and know the playbook faster than 90% of the quarterbacks in the league. He's one of those guys that'll end up being like a head coach. He'll be like Boise State's head coach one day.
Mm-hmm. No, I can definitely see that.
Yeah, he's going to be their head coach. He'll be like 33 years old and like he'll be the head coach somewhere of a major college football team. And a good one. A good football team. You know what I mean? That's who Brett Rippon is. Brett Rippon is a coach on the field. Somebody that can he just won't make the dumb mistakes. He'll make mistakes where his arm isn't strong enough, where he'll try to throw an out that his arm just won't get it there and it'll get picked off maybe. Those are the mistakes he makes. Are more physical mistakes. But he won't make mental mistakes. And I think you can almost be okay with him making physical mistakes. But when he makes when you make mental mistakes, those are the killers, man. And that's what Drew Lock does. He makes mental mistakes constantly, and he doesn't put the offense in the right blocking. He gets lit up. Look, how many times has Teddy Bridgewater been just absolutely front trained this year?
Not
on a
many.
sack.
Yeah.
Not never.
Yeah.
He's going through his progressions. Check. You can see Teddy. He's here. He goes through his progressions, and he's just like check, looking. He's patient, but he goes through his reads, and then the play breaks down. He's set. But he doesn't have the ball high turn and just getting blasted where there's like free rushers coming in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because Teddy puts the offense in the right positions to block for him. He reads the defense. Those are the things that Teddy does that Drew Lock does not. Those things look like it's the offensive line's fault, but it's the quarterback not checking to the right block scheme, right? Check to the slide to the right because this guy's coming. Well, we've talked about this before. Like, how often have you heard Drew Lock say 52 is the mic?
Mm-hmm.
Check the mic because that guy's the mic. You never see it because he doesn't. That's not part of his game. His game is get the ball, see the open player, and throw it to the open player. That's his game. And the game is too fast for Drew Lock as a quarterback. And that's a shame because the dude has all kinds of talent. He just doesn't have this for the game. He just doesn't see it right. He doesn't see it fast enough. And he got blasted 2 or 3 times in the first 2 or 3 weeks of the season where he was getting lit up, man, where he gets injured. He's hurt all the time. He's hurt every year because he's getting blasted by free rushers. He's not putting the offensive line in a position to block those guys. Where I think a Brett Rippon and obviously Teddy Bridgewater is doing those things. Do those things will keep himself clean for the most part. And those are the mental mistakes that Drew makes that these guys aren't making.
So here's a good thought. Is it possible? Of course, I'd rather see, assuming everything continues to go as planned for Bridgewater and for Denver, the remaining 14 games. Would it be potentially okay that if we happen to lose out on the Bridgewater sweepstakes, so to speak, in 22?
Yeah.
I hope. Well, first of all, I'm hoping Lock's learning something under Bridge or under Teddy. I hope. I don't know if he is. I haven't heard if he is or he isn't. But let's just say he is. Could we see Lock in 22 if we lose out in the sweepstakes?
No.
Even for 1 year?
No.
Darn.
Nope. Simple answer, dude.
So what you're telling me is that now I got 2 quarterback jerseys or 3 quarterback jerseys that just went bye-bye?
Yeah. Your 3 jersey is officially on. You can buy the 3 jerseys right now at TJ Maxx for like $12. TJ Maxx will have a bunch of number 3 jerseys very, very soon. Number 5s, maybe not as many. But number 3, you'll have plenty. Yeah, it's over, man. Like it's like that saying, you can never go home.
Yep.
It's like you can never go back to that quarterback. you can't have a starting quarterback and then go to another quarterback and then go back to that other quarterback. Just tell me when that has happened before. Give me a historical situation where that is the case. Exactly.
Yeah,
it doesn't happen, dude.
Yeah, I can't.
It never happens, man. You don't go from one starting quarterback to the next and then go back. It just doesn't happen. Historically, it doesn't happen, and that's why Drew Lock doesn't have any trade value, because every team in the NFL knows that they're not going to go back to Drew Lock, and they also know it's that you can see what you can get. Maybe you can develop him, maybe. And maybe he'll have trade value next year or whatever. But ultimately, in the grand scheme of things, the reason why he's still a Bronco is because they couldn't get rid of him. They couldn't trade him, and they're not going to drop him. I mean, yet he hasn't done anything egregious for them to say, like, Drew, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here, kind of thing. He's been a good guy, but you're not going to go back to Drew Lock, and that's why there's no trade value for him.
And you brought a good point of why would Denver keep Brett Rippon? He's a good guy just for the quarterback to learn from.
Exactly. And he's Drew Lock's best buddy. I mean, they're best buddies. Those two are like two peas in a pod. Word around the campfire. And I think that maybe Brett Rippon is teaching Drew Lock. Maybe that they're hoping that he'll rub off on him, like, hey, get in the playbook, get with this guy. Make him know what we need him to know. Teach him those things, like be his mentor. And they're like the same age. They came out the same year. Yep. They're ultimately the same guy. But they trust Brett Rippon more than they trust Drew Lock. And you can say whatever you want to say about it, but why would they promote Brett Rippon to the 53 when they obviously need help at linebacker and special teams right now?
Yep. So
they can say whatever they want to say, but look at what they're doing. Those are the things. That's what you got to do in the NFL. Is look what they're doing. Don't listen to what they're saying.
I'm with you, and maybe you never know. Maybe we'll see Brett Rippon hitting somebody on linebacker.
Hey, you might, I guess, put him out there on punt return.
On punt return,
make him tackle somebody.
Make him tackle somebody.
He could be a gunner, maybe. I don't know. The reason why they're keeping Brett Rippon is because they trust him. He can be a backer. He's their backup quarterback. Ultimately, I think they're. I don't know what they're doing, man, with Drew Lock. I honestly don't. I don't know what they're doing. They're obviously not going to trade him.
Well, no. We also.
What do you do with Drew Lock?
I may have to on Twitter this week or next week. May just try to find some Bronco insider that might know something. Just like, hey, what are you hearing about Drew Lock? I'm just curious what is behind closed doors of what Lock's persona is. I mean, what is he there from Denver to do besides be Teddy Bridgewater's backup? But I don't know if anybody would leak that information, even if he did.
Well, I mean, I don't think you'll get the right information. I don't even know if they know what they're doing with Drew Lock, to be totally honest with you.
I don't think so either.
I think they're trying to develop him. I think they would love to develop him. I think they would hope that he would come around and be, a serviceable backup. But I don't know, man. You tell me. What are your thoughts on it?
I think what they're trying to do is see if. I mean, also I don't know what's going on behind doors, but I could potentially see a Teddy Brett kind of thing. You learn under Teddy. Brett Rippon's your mentor, and learn from him. And I be honest with you, I think that they're trying to groom him, but the question is, what is there to groom besides some of his intelligence and his progressions? That's what I would hope to see. But if Teddy continues to prove like he's been playing, I don't see how you can't at least make an offer for Teddy to stay in Mile High City.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is Teddy's team now, man.
Yeah,
this is not Drew Lock's team. I think there's just a few people that are left over from the Drew Lock fan club that they want to see him be the backup at least, and I don't even think that's a plausible scenario for him.
The way it's looking, I don't know. I don't even see that either.
No, maybe like a Pittsburgh. Once the Broncos rough him up, maybe Draymond Jones puts one on Big Ben and
lay him out,
or do whatever they got to do, and just put him on his back 6 times. And they got to go to some. They just knock him out of the league ultimately. Once that happens, then maybe you trade him to Pittsburgh. I don't know, dude. I honestly don't. I think that's what they're going to do. I think they're trying to look for a quarterback desperate team that will take a Drew Lock. But as of right now, I don't think there's anybody out there that even wants him.
And honestly, and I'm not trying to be funny or anything, I really don't see Big Ben making it through this whole season. He's struggling.
Exactly.
I don't either. Really struggling.
I think he should have retired in 2019.
Yep.
I think he did retire in 2019. He just didn't tell anybody. he didn't let anybody know. He just kept showing up.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Collecting a paycheck there.
Coach Thomas like, oh God, here we go again. Now, for a jokes aside, he's done. He's done.
He's done, man.
Yeah, Big Ben's done in Pittsburgh, and I think Pittsburgh as a whole's done. But here's a thought: Baker Mayfield. If he don't do nothing in Cleveland, do you see Baker being traded? Maybe Denver trade Lock for Baker.
No.
Well, you don't want Baker
staying in Cleveland. They love him there.
Yeah, they do.
They got a love affair for that guy.
You can't blame him.
Nah, he's played pretty well for them.
Yeah.
He got them to the playoffs. So I mean, that's like I said, all the Broncos want right now is to go to the playoffs. So
we just want to be back.
We'll adore whoever gets us there.
Oh yeah, even if it is Brett or Kendall Hinton.
Kendall Hinton. Hey man, I hate to do this, but my phone's about to die.
No, you're good, man. But
so if it dies, I'm sorry. I should have charged it up before I came in here.
No, you're good. I figured probably start winding. I know it's not late there, but I'm sure you will at least want to enjoy some of your evening that's left. But well, my man, it's been good talking to you again.
Yeah, you too, man. I always appreciate you bringing me on. I love talking about these things because I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna try to anyway, and you do too. You give me. I know you love Drew Lock, but you let me just be real with it.
No, I gotta
appreciate that.
I gotta tease with Drew. It could be worse. I mean, we could have Big Ben. We could have
Paxton Lynch.
We could have Paxton. Is he even on the roster? I'm not making fun of him.
I think he's in Canada. I think he's a backup quarterback in Canada somewhere.
Oh Jesus! Well, bless his heart.
Bless his heart.
Bless it.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, guys, it's been fun talking some Broncos with my buddy Clyde, all the way from Denver. Of course, listen to us on iTunes, Google. Follow us on Twitter at airraid_podcast and Facebook as well. Clyde, enjoy. Before you head off, your final prediction: Baltimore, Denver, final score.
Broncos 23-16.
I'm going 24. What was I saying? 24-14. So we'll see. But nonetheless, Clyde, it's been fun talking to you, buddy. Take care. And you've been listening to the Air Raid Attack podcast. Always, always, always feel free to join the conversation. Hashtag Air Raid Attack podcast. And stay tuned on Twitter because let's be honest, I got a big time guest I'm in the works with. You'll definitely want to know who and when it'll take place. And of course, Cleveland fans, don't forget, Miss Molly's coming on. We're just getting the date set up and worked out. In the meantime, everyone enjoy week number 4 of the NFL and college football week 5. Don't forget on Colorcast, download the app. If you have an iPhone, don't worry, Android users. The Colorcast app will be out there here shortly. Download us and download the app. Listen to the Air Attack podcast. 7 p.m. Central every Friday night on Colorcast. And it will be a fun one. And, of course, check out Championship Sport Media. Great articles, great content. And, as always, Law Terrain watches. Check them out. Use the code AIRRAID to save you some money as we're just around the corner of the holiday season. But, nonetheless, it's been good. You've been listening to the Air Raid Attack podcast. I'll see you same time next week, and I'll see you on Friday night on Colorcast.